Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tipped. My name is Julian, and in today's episode, by popular request, I'm making my preseason injury updates for this season. Before we get started, guys, please leave a like, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and if you do want to take your support to the next level, you can follow me on Patreon. The link is down in the description below. Let's jump right into it now, and let's start with my injury updates, and we're going to go alphabetically in order by team so you can find the player that you're looking for quite easily. And first on the list is Clayton Keller, and he had leg surgery in the offseason, and he thinks that he's going to be ready for the season opener, which is a really good sign, but he probably won't play in training camp, but you should expect him to be in your lineup for the opener. And then I have Lawson Crouse, who broke a bone in his hand in April, but his recovery timeline was only 4 weeks, so he's probably going to be good to go as well. And the next is Jakob Chychrun, and after March 12th, he missed the rest of the season last year. But the GM Bill Armstrong expects him to be ready for the season debut as well, so you can roll him out with confidence as well. And then I have Brad Marchand, who underwent surgery on both hips this offseason, but he is expected to be ready just after American Thanksgiving. He's someone who tends to heal quite fast, so he's only going to miss about 20 games this season. Then I got Charlie McAvoy, who had shoulder surgery over the offseason and is expected to return early December, so I estimated his return date somewhere around December 3rd. Same thing with Grzelcyk, actually. He also had shoulder surgery over the offseason, but he's actually expected to return about a month earlier in early November, so he could return for Boston's game on November 3rd, potentially. And Grzelcyk could have a little bit of value for that 1 month when he comes back, because generally when McAvoy is not in the lineup, Grzelcyk is the guy who gets top power play time. So if they do opt to give Grzelcyk that top power play time, he could have a decent amount of value for that 1 month that McAvoy is out. Then I have Andrew Mangiapane, who's dealing with a minor injury and should only miss the first few days of training camp, but should be good to go after that. And then I have Oliver Kylington, who's missing the start of training camp for the Flames due to a personal family matter, but there's no reason to believe that he's going to miss any kind of time in the regular season. Then we have Max Pacioretty, who had Achilles surgery back in August and is only expected to return in early February. So I probably wouldn't draft this guy or keep him on your team unless you have a ridiculous amount of IR spots. And if you do, then obviously keep him on one of those. And then Boone Jenner, he's dealing with some back issues and he's not participating in team scrimmages right now, but I think that's out of caution, and I think he's going to be good to go for game 1. Then we have Cole Sillinger, who's day-to-day after suffering upper body injury in practice, but the fact that they're labeling it as day-to-day is a good thing, and the season's still a few weeks away, so he should be good to go for the opener. And then we have Gabriel Landeskog, and this one kind of hurts, and he had some knee surgery on March 14th. And he still has no timetable for recovery, and it should be lasting into the season, unfortunately. So we don't really know how long he's going to be out for. It doesn't seem like it's going to be too long, but unfortunately, guys, Landeskog is going to be out in the season. So guys, if you haven't drafted yet, don't draft Landeskog as early as he's been going. You're going to want to drop him a little bit. I still do like him this season. Just don't draft him as early as I have ranked him in my rankings, because this just came out that he is injured. So that definitely hurts a little bit. And I have Valeri Nichushkin, who suffered a foot injury in the playoffs, and they're holding him out of preseason and training camp. Now, it's a little bit weird because Yahoo does not list him as injured on their site. I don't know why, because he is injured and he's not playing in preseason or in training camp, but it looks like he's going to be good to go for the regular season, so there's no reason to worry about him. Then we have Jason Robertson, who's listed as NA on Yahoo because of the contract dispute that he's been dealing with. It doesn't look like he's anywhere close to being signed, so at this point it looks like Dallas might start the season without him, which wouldn't be great for his fantasy owners, obviously. So if you are preparing to draft, maybe drop Robertson quite a few rounds. Like, don't draft him where he's currently going with his ADP, because he may not be on the team to start the season. Then we have Tyler Bertuzzi, who missed some practices. The coach is describing it as a flare-up. It's an undisclosed injury, but there's no reason right now to believe that he's going to miss game 1 of the regular season, since it's still a few weeks away. Then we have Andrew Copp, who had abdominal surgery over the offseason and is going to miss the entire preseason. Now, he hasn't been ruled out for game 1 just yet, but if he does miss game 1, he should be back soon after that during the first week of the year, so I'm not too concerned about Andrew Copp's injury. Then Robby Fabbri had ACL surgery and is going to be out until January at the very least. And then Cody Ceci for the Oilers is going to miss the first couple of preseason games with a hamstring injury, but he's going to be good to go after that, so no reason to believe he's going to miss any kind of time in the regular season, so he's good. Anthony Duclair, he had an Achilles surgery, which is a long-term recovery, and he's nowhere near returning right now. He's going to miss most of the season. He's definitely not going to be back until well into 2023, so he's not someone that I'd keep on my team either unless I have a ridiculous amount of IR spot. And then Arvidsson had back surgery, and even with his maximum timeline to his injury, he should be back for game 1 of the regular season, so no reason to worry about Arvidsson too much there either. And then Durzi had shoulder surgery in May, and he's expected also to be ready for game 1 of the season. Then we got 4 Montreal Canadiens, and they're actually all going to be good to go to start the year, but we're going to go through them individually anyway. Monahan had a hip injury, which kept him out most of last season, which was pretty serious. So the Habs are taking it easy with him, but they plan on getting him into some preseason games, which means that likely he's going to be playing in game 1 of the season. Josh Anderson, he's got an unknown day-to-day injury to begin training camp. Now, the only clarity that we have right now is that it is a day-to-day injury, and the season is still a few weeks away. So, in all likelihood, Anderson should be good to go game 1. Then Suzuki is out the first 2 weeks of training camp, but will also be ready for game 1, so that's a good sign. Josh Allen, he missed lots of time last year with his groin injury, but he has been playing in training camp, so I'm not really sure why Yahoo's currently listing him as injured. He's good to go. And then Alex Formenton of the Ottawa Senators got a contract dispute, much like Jason Robertson. He's not signed just yet. So as long as he's not signed, he's not going to be playing. So definitely get him out of your lineups. He's not someone that I would have on my team unless I have an NA spot. If I do have an NA spot, then I'm fine with keeping him on there. Because, like, what are you going to use the NA spot for anyway? Unless you're in a keepers league, in which case, obviously, use your NA spot for better players than that. But otherwise, Alex Formenton, he's not someone that you need to have on your team right now. He doesn't have a crazy amount of fantasy value this year. Then I got my boy Juuse Saros, and he's actually healthy now after an ankle injury kept him out of the playoffs. I don't know why Yahoo still has him listed as injured. He's good to go, guys. Don't be worried about Saros. Then we have Barclay Goodrow, who's dealing with a ankle injury right now. He's limited in camp, but he should be good for game 1 of the season. Then we have Ryan Ellis of the Philadelphia Flyers, and it looks like his back injury is really serious, guys, and it's going to keep him out once again the entire season. So if you do have Ellis on your team, or you were thinking of drafting him, don't. Drop him if you have him, and don't draft him if you were planning on it. Then we have Sean Couturier, who suffered a herniated disc in his back strength and conditioning drills last week. It was looking like he was going to be good to go for the season, but that's a huge setback, guys. He's week to week, and honestly, you should even call that month to month because he's expected to miss the next 3 months minimum. The earliest return is the end of December, but honestly, guys, there's a thought that it could be even longer than that and extend well into the second half of the season, if not the full season. So I'm definitely worried about Couturier, and I would not draft him if I haven't drafted yet. Then I have Joel Farabee, who's dealing with a neck injury, and he's been skating, which is a very, very good sign, but he may not be cleared in time for game 1 of the season, but he should be cleared shortly afterwards. So in the month of October, we should see Farabee play some hockey. Then we have Jeff Carter, who left Penguins scrimmage early during training camp. There's no information available beyond that right now. And so for right now, I'm going to say he's going to be fine for the start of the year. But if something comes out that says, oh, he's going to miss some time, I'll definitely let you guys know on Twitter. And I'll leave a comment in this video to make sure you guys are aware that Jeff Carter will be missing time if he will be missing time. Then I have Anthony Cirelli, who had surgery to repair his AC joint sprain. And he's going to be out until at least mid-November. And obviously, guys, he's not someone who's crazy fantasy valuable in the first place. So there's no real reason to keep him on your team. I guess it's not the worst thing if you have a few IR spots, throw him on there for a month and he'll be back in a month. Anthony Cirelli's not overly valuable, but if you do have him on your team, expect him back mid-November at the earliest. And then we have Pierre Engvall of the Maple Leafs. I don't know why you'd have him on your fantasy team, honestly, but he should be good to go for the start of the season, although he will miss the start of training camp. Then we have Mark Stone, who missed so much time last season, guys. I'm definitely worried about his fantasy outlook this year a little bit. But as of right now, he had back surgery in the offseason and apparently is pain-free for the first time in a long time, which is really, really good for Mark Stone. And he should be good to go for game 1. Then we have Nicolas Hague, who actually hasn't signed a contract yet. So much like Formenton and Nick Robertson, he's not going to be able to play for Vegas until he signs his contract, and it's also unclear if he's recovered from his lower body injury that ended his season early last year, so we're going to have to monitor that. Then I have Nick Backstrom, who had hip resurfacing surgery, which is something that's very difficult to come back from apparently. And if he does come back, if everything goes really, really well, it won't be before January. So don't expect him back until then, if at all. And finally, we have Tom Wilson, who's dealing with a knee injury, had ACL surgery back in May, and is looking to be back sometime in December. And that's it for this video, guys. Is there any player that I missed that you have questions about? Definitely leave a comment down below and I'll be sure to answer you. Until next time, guys, please leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. And if you do want to take your support to the next level, the link to my Patreon is down in the description below. Thanks so much, guys, and I'll catch you in the next episode of Fantasy Tipped.